Finale with the Mets gets an early start. The Nationals are a season-high 17 games over 500 and in position to sweep behind Gio Gonzalez.
Washington Nationals baseball.
Life is good in Natstown. It's a day game. The Nats are looking for the sweep. It's the Mets and the Nationals under clear skies, and a big crowd will be here to watch this one. Mets have lost 6 in a row, 7 of 8, and the Nats just keep on rolling. Some news today, of course. Another arm of the bullpen, Drew Storen, but Rick Ankiel, designated for assignment in FP, one of our favorite guys. He will not be unemployed very long.
No, if you check out the internet right now, probably some interest from the Yankees, and with a ton of outfielders and a lot of left-handed bats. Chad Tracy just a couple days away. Yeah. He was expendable, and when you're good, you got to get rid of good guys.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a couple of good guys on the mound today. 12-game winners, all-stars, with R.A. Dickey and Gio Gonzalez. Great matchup.
Yeah, 24 W's toeing the slab today here at Nats Park. First with R.A. Dickey. 12 wins in the first half of the season. That's the most since Frank Viola did it with 13 in 1990. He surrendered 5 earned runs, however, in 3 of his last 4 starts. So we'll see if that knuckleball's knuckling today. And last time out against the Nats, he was superb. But then he's got to go up against Gio Gonzalez, the all-star left-hander. 12 wins as well, 2.93 ERA, 127 strikeouts, 195 opponent's average. So hits are going to be hard to come by today. One guy throwing 95, the other guy throwing in the low 80s. We'll see who wins.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup today, and Gio ahead of Strasburg and Atlanta coming in this weekend. What a great momentum game this would be going in for that weekend.
Yeah, tough loss for the Braves last night in extra innings against the Giants. The Nats move up to 4.5-game lead. They sweep the Mets. A great momentum going into the weekend series against the Braves.
The Nationals have dominated the Mets this year. They've beaten them in this series 5-4 and 4-3. They've won 6 of 8 against New York. What a series it's been, and the Nats go for all 3 right now. Baseball on Masson, brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Anything's possible the way the Nats are playing these days. They're 10 over 500 at home at 26-16. 17 over for the first time since the 05 inaugural season. And they are 20-11 against the National League East. Great numbers to talk about, and a great day for a ball game. Visit Trane.com for an independent Trane comfort specialist dealer near you. It's hard to stop a Trane.
A few game notes before we get this one started. You check out the Washington Nationals. They've won 10 of their last 12 against the Mets. Been playing well in their division all season long. The National starters 1.50 ERA in 36 innings since the All-Star break. And the roster moves we touched on in the open. Drew Storm, Sandy Leon activated. Rick Ankiel designated for assignment. And if you look all over the internet right now, there's rumors that Ankiel might show up as a New York Yankee.
And the Mets hitting .260, 6th in the National League. They're 4th in runs and 12th in home runs. David Wright on a tear. In this series, he's 5 out of 9 with a home run last night. He's on an 11-game Nationals Park hitting streak. And look at what he's doing against the Nats pitching. But it's a lineup overall that can be pitched to. And Gio Gonzalez will get the assignment. As Johnny Holiday told you during Nats Extra, the only time he's ever pitched against the Mets is as an Oakland Athletic. Last year, 7 innings, a run on 4 hits, no career decisions, and somehow he and the Mets have avoided each other so far this year.
Yeah, that 12-4 record could very easily be 13-3. Took the tough luck loss 2-1 at Miami against Mark Burley last time out. He worked 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 5 singles, struck out 9, walked nobody. Through 93 pitches, 67 for strikes. So 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball, low to mid-90s, curveball change from Gio Gonzalez today. Weekday day games, let's go with the nicknames on defense. Beast, Shark, and Bam Bam in the outfield. SB Zim on the left side, Lumbo, Rochi on the right side, and the Bruise doing the catching.
Sometimes referred to as Flo. And Bryce Harper goes over to right field today. A lot of action lately in center. He can play anywhere. And Davey Johnson getting Roger Bernardina in the lineup today, so that puts Michael Morse over in left. By the way, in Atlanta, Madison Bumgarner and Tim Hudson dueling. That game is underway. Freddie Freeman's hit a home run. It's 1-1 second inning. Chris Conroy at the plate, Tim Timmons, crew chief Angel Hernandez, and Mark Carlson around the bases.
And the Giants winning an 11-inning thriller last night in Atlanta. They had a 3-1 lead going in the bottom of the 9th. Freddie Freeman doubled. Brian McCann off the bench hit a 2-run home run to tie it. And then the Giants scored 6 in their half of the 11th inning. They're going for the first sweep in Atlanta today since June of 1988.
Go Giants. Going to hear a lot of noise in the ballpark today. 10,000 campers are here. And Gio Gonzalez misses away. We are underway at 12:38. Ruben Tejada in this series 1 for 9. Their leadoff man batting .317. He gets severely jammed and pops it up. Jesus Flores right there for a very simple first out. Gio making his 114th career appearance, his 108th start. 50 career wins against 36 losses with a .377 ERA. And that's real good for a guy who pitched in the American League for 4 years. Andres Torres, the hitter. Fastball is up and into Torres, batting right-handed at .290, .226 overall, and he's 2 for 7 with an RBI in this series. Showed bunt, got Zimmerman on the move, but it was a called strike anyway.
Whatever the game plan for Ross Detwiler the other night against the Mets was, I'm sure you'll see the same from Gio Gonzalez. And that game plan from Ross featured tons of fastballs.
That one whistling outside at 92, 2-1. Marlins will play this afternoon. In about 2 hours, they'll be at Chicago. The Nats have opened up a 4.5 game lead, as FP told you, when the Braves lost last night. 8 over these Mets. who've lost 6 in a row and 10 over the Marlins. Phillies lost in LA yesterday. They're 14 back. And a 2-2. Busting him inside, forcing another opposite field foul ball. So I'm sure the Mets broadcaster today talking about their guy who they need to be a stopper. R.A. Dickey to the mound. We'll see what Gio can do here in the top of the first. Throws a nasty breaking ball that just is foul tipped. Torres has been on a tear. Pick and run, 9 stolen bases. Good defensive outfielder. Well into his 30s.
See Gio Gonzalez trying to go in on him with 2 strikes. We've seen Torres right-handed in this series do a nice job of going the other way. And he'll pull the off-speed pitch if he has to right-handed, but he likes to hit the ball up the middle to the right side right-handed.
To the right side, getting over to get his body behind it. Lombardozzi close and safe. Steven has been a little deliberate in at least 3 throws during this series, and the Mets finally made him pay for it.
Yeah, 2 with Daniel Murphy running to first base. That one with Andres Torres. And he grabs the ball and takes that little extra shuffle. You see 1, 2 with the pat on the glove, and that's the difference. And when you got a plus base runner, plus speed guy running down the line, you have to get rid of it quicker than that. I think just that little pat in the glove and that extra shuffle was the difference.
Absolutely. Torres can fly. Now you have to face David Wright pitching from the stretch with a man aboard here in the first inning, and that can be a game changer early.
There's 2 ways to correct that if you're an infielder. And number 1, obviously get rid of it a step quicker. But number 2, if that's your routine and that's how you do it, play a little bit shallower and get to the ball quicker.
David Wright puts one into the bullpen and just beyond the bullpen. 2-0 New York. He continues to punish Nationals pitching. Well, how about the whole league this year for David Wright? That's his 13th, and he has 62 RBIs.
Yeah, 3 hits last night, a double, single, and a home run. Was robbed of a line drive to right center field his 3rd time up by Bryce Harper. And that's how this one starts today. Fastball right down the middle. Into the Mets bullpen, 2-0.
And I just think the Nats should not throw David Wright another strike all day unless the bases are loaded and it's 3-0 or 3-1. I mean, he's just killing them if they throw it over the plate, and the rest of this lineup can be pitched to. Here's Scott Hairston, their cleanup guy, 2 for 5 in this series.
Yeah, the point you make is a good one, but when you have a staff that's used to attacking all the time and going right after guys, it's hard to back off no matter who it is. I mean, what you're saying is making perfect sense, but when you have guys like Jordan Zimmerman, Gio Gonzalez, and Steven Strasburg, they don't have that in their mentality.
This one high in the air, right field for Bryce Harper. Sun is shining straight down from just over the right side of the press box here. So 2 outs, bases empty with Jason Bay coming up. And you know, on a day like this when the humidity's in the 60s, 50s or 60s, the ball's going to carry. But the Mets have just given one of the best pitchers in baseball this year a crooked number on the board. Danny Espinosa for that 2-hopper, and that's it for the top of the first. David Wright goes long, continues to hurt the Nats. 2 early runs. R.A. Dickey. The Nats are 8th in the league in hitting, 10th in runs, and 6th in homers. See your authorized Dodge dealer. Experience a world of performance, design, and fuel efficiency. Schedule a test drive or log on to Dodge.com and check out the powerful lineup. Steve Lombardozzi hitting .302, 11-game hitting streak. In this series, he's 2 for 8 with a sacrifice and 3 RBIs. R.A. Dickey, career against the Nats. 12 games, 10 starts, a .350 ERA, record of 3-4.
Last time out on July 14th at Atlanta, he received the no decision in the Mets' 8-7 loss. He had pitched 5 innings, allowed 5 runs on 8 hits, struck out 4, walked 2 through 84 pitches, 56 for strikes. He has, however, won his last 10 decisions. So 2 pitches, fastball, knuckleball from Dickey. He'll throw the knuckleball 86% of the time. It'll go from the mid-70s to the mid-80s.
Lombardozzi is 1 for 7 with an RBI against him. And Steve from the right side hitting, or left side rather, hitting .286. That looked like the 84-mile-an-hour fastball. It sure looked quicker than 84, didn't it?
He'll throw that 13% of the time, according to my graphics.
2-2. Lombardozzi jammed and he fouls one away. .317 in the home park. Flips that one over to the left side, and it's going over the dugout.
And Carp, you and I were talking about this before the game. There's some school of thought that for switch hitters, you go up there right-handed against the knuckleball, especially if you throw right-handed, because that's your dominant hand.
And Lombardozzi will pop it up to short center. Tejada out, Torres in to grab it for the first out.
And with the knuckleball floating up there, it's easier to get on top of it from the right side of the plate because your right hand, the top hand, is a little bit stronger. And set the defense for the Mets today behind R.A. Dickey. Bay, Torres, Hairston in the outfield. Tejada right on the left side. Turner, Davis on the right side. And Josh Thole doing the catching. He's got the big picker on back there today. The knuckleball catcher's glove. Look at it. Looks just like a first base glove. Probably about twice the size of his regular glove.
First time Bryce Harper faced R.A. Dickey, he went 0 for 3. June 7th in this ballpark when the Nats faced him in a 3-1 Mets win. And that day, Dickey gave up no runs on 4 hits in 7 1/3 innings, and he finished that game with a 24 2/3 innings scoreless streak. Harper struck out, grounded out, and then struck out again against him. And there he goes, 0 for 4 now.
So the one thing you have to be careful of when you're facing a knuckleball guy is the fastball with 2 strikes. R.A. Dickey goes with the heater, 2-seam variety on the inner half, 85 miles an hour. You see him started off the plate, run it back at the last second. Lock you up every time.
Here's Ryan Zimmerman with a walk, 1 for 8 in this series. And against R.A. Dickey, 5 for 22 career. And Dickey appears to have very good command right out of the dugout today. Zimmerman scratched out a hit in 3 at-bats against him here earlier. Ejects that one to left center. See you later over the bullpen. And now the Nats are on the board. Number 11 for Ryan Zimmerman, wearing number 11.
Last night's game, David Wright started it off in the first inning with a double. Ryan Zimmerman, the third hitter of the game, answered him with a double today. David Wright starts the game off with a home run. Ryan Zimmerman, the third hitter, answers with another home run. So dueling third baseman here in the Mets versus the Nats.
And they both go in the first row right above the bullpen. We need to check the medical records out of the Hampton Roads area to see if these two were separated at birth.
The only difference was an infield single by Torres. Now check this one out. Knuckleball up in the zone. That's where you want it. Tee it high, let it fly. And that's exactly what Ryan Zimmerman did.
That's the 10th homer given up by Dickey this year in 126 innings. So it doesn't happen very often, and the Nats are on the board with their 95th home run of the year. Adam LaRoche hitting .257, stepping in.
David Wright must be standing out there at, well, he's at shortstop right now thinking that guy's stealing my thunder. Every time I do something, he tries to top me.
I love it. Red got to the major leagues about a year and a half before Ryan did. They were guys who knew each other on select teams, travel teams as youngsters. The Uptons down there, Mark Reynolds, that whole bunch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Adam LaRoche fights off a pitch inside.
We see the shift on LaRoche all the time. You got the wishbone formation right there, but the one thing I think is different with the Mets is look where Wright's playing. Usually third baseman will hang out over here. And he's almost 4 guys on the right side. He's playing to the pull side where a shortstop would be.
Good take. No swing, agrees Mark Carlson. And the count goes to 3-2. It was high, so Adam let it fly and fouled it straight back.
Yeah, you want to zone that knuckleball up. It's difficult to do, but if it starts up, it's usually going to end around belt high. That one stayed up, however.
Great at bat by Adam LaRoche. He'll walk for the 41st time, and that puts him into the top 10 in the National League.
It's a good example of if the knuckleball starts about knee high or mid thigh high, you know it's going to go down, so it's an automatic take. That one started low for LaRoche. He's seen it enough to know that it was going to drop out of the strike zone. So I guess basically you're looking for that thing about letter high. If it's up there, that's the one you want to offer at.
Michael Morse is what you would call a real difference maker to the Nats this year. With him in the lineup, and in this series, he's 2 for 8. The Nats score on the average about 7/10 of a run more than they do without him. They hit almost 20 points higher. The home runs are up with him in the lineup, as well as the slugging percentage. So he's been a difference maker since coming back to this ball club. .348 his last 22 games.
And that knuckleball is hanging out over the plate so far in this ball game in the first inning. And that's 2 that Dickey's gotten away with to Morse. Belt high or above, right down the middle, not a lot of movement.
Oh, 2, that ball gets away. Michael Morse didn't run. They'll throw him out easily. Michael didn't know where the ball had gone, and he's thrown out at first base. Ryan Zimmerman gets the Nats on the board. His 11th home run, 44th RBI, a no-doubter, just like the one David Wright hit. 2-1 so far. And now the second inning presented by Luna. Call for the Luna Double today. Get your second room of flooring free at 877-241-LUNA. For Gio Gonzalez, first inning, 15 pitches, 10 strikes, and he faces Ike Davis. First career matchup between the two. Davis in this series, 1 hit, 8 ABs. 6, 7, 8 for the Mets here in the second. And that's a front door breaking ball that stays inside. Nats respect his power more so to the offside than they do in right field. And that is a very tardy swing.
A 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Gonzalez after the 78-mile-an-hour pitch. Fastball in the black, good spot, perfect location. And kind of a half swing from Mike Davis.
Braves, by the way, have scored another run, batting bottom of the third, leading the Giants 2-1. We'll keep you up to date on that game all day as the Nats lead the Braves by 4.5, and they'll be here tomorrow night. Notice where their outstanding young shortstop has been injured, and they've picked up the former Cincinnati Reds youngster to help them out on the infield, Paul Janisch. Andrelton Simmons injured.
Davey Johnson would be just fine if the Braves and the Giants went about 16 innings today.
That ball hit high in the air to dead center. Bernardina can only watch it. And the Braves are going to be happy about that. The Mets are on top 3-1 on 2 long balls. For Ike Davis, his 14th of the year. Gio's only given up 6 all year, including these 2 today.
Not a bad curveball either. Davis just all over it. You saw him with a half swing on the fastball away. And Gio Gonzalez threw him a curveball, caught it out front. That's where the big boys go, out there straightaway center field. 3-1 Mets.
Yeah, he had to supply all the power on that one. So here's Justin Turner. Now, how about that? 4 homers all year in 108 innings. And now the Mets, not a home run hitting team as a rule. 2 long balls in just over 1 inning here.
A lot like Tyler Clipper the last couple of nights. Guy that hasn't given up any home runs all year, and then 3 in back-to-back games. Warm temperature, excuse me, Carp, the ball's flying.
Yeah, they've still given up the fewest home runs, 68 the entire year. That ball flared out to Bryce Harper, who makes a last-second adjustment. Even that ball got a little deeper than Bryce thought it would be. Your mission, our commitment. Visit agilitycorp.com with our league leaders. And the most wins with R.A. Dickey and Gio Gonzalez in this league.
Well, it's the race for 13 wins. David Price throwing today for the Rays.
Josh Thole, the catcher. Tough assignment for him offensively against Gio Gonzalez. But as FP noted before the game, he's got to be the guy in there to catch R.A. Dickey. Very late on that swing. No balls, 2 strikes.
He might tell you a tough assignment defensively as well, trying to catch a knuckleball for however many innings.
And a 1-2 pitch. Pretty good jammage right there, and a foul ball off to the left side. We started this one at 12:38. The 1 o'clock hour gets underway here at Nationals Park. Nice crowd on hand. Somewhere between 20 and 25,000 at the moment, and more sure to come in. High heat, 94. And Gio gets his first strikeout today. 128 on the year. Dickey has 129, and R.A.'s on his way to hit.
94 miles an hour up in Tolley's eyes. Tough to catch up to that pitch. Josh Tolley, a low ball hitter. That a high fastball with some hair on it. Thanks for coming.
R.A.'s a pretty good hitter. 7 hits this year, a couple of RBIs. He's a 197 career hitter, so just a couple of clicks under 200. An amazing story, this guy. His career has really blossomed. R.A. Dickey at the age of 37. 19 wins, 22 losses the last 2 years for the Mets, and he's eaten up a lot of innings for them. Close to 400. 58 starts in those 2 years. And he goes waving at that one. So the strikeout race is tied at 129 each. Too bad the game's not. The Mets play long ball again, and they lead it 3-1 early.
Second inning, and the Nationals are down 3-1. A lot of roster moves being made today and more to come, but good news, more from Jason Werth today, and General Manager Mike Rizzo was able to give us some details on Werth's progress and what's to come from here.
He took a long BP yesterday and was swinging at maximum bat speed, and then came back early today. It was kind of a day game after a night game for him, and was extremely productive today in the cage. He had a good round of batting practice, and wasn't sore coming into it, which is an important part of it.
Rizzo talked about what they're looking now from Jason's wrist, his stamina. He said his BP looked good early, saw a little fatigue near the end. It sounds like Jason will go to Potomac tomorrow to start a rehab assignment.
That's Christina with our sideline report, brought to you by AFCEA.org, the association for IT pros. So Danny Espinosa hits the ball sharply, unrewarded, second inning underway. And by the way, Mike Rizzo also said today, another reason for adding another arm to the bullpen, the day-night doubleheader on Saturday, and the fact that you can't put guys that have track records on waivers. Somebody's going to grab them, and he thought that even the guys who have options left, they're performing too well to put them back in the minor leagues. I mean, you want to send a message to your guys in your organization, FP, that you get to the big leagues, you perform well, you stay.
And regardless if you have options, Ryan Matthews with a 1.69 ERA, he has options. Greg Salmon with a 1.66 ERA, he has options. And I think the only option for those two is a big league bullpen and a first place team.
Sure, they deserve it. Roger Bernardina in this series, 1 for 1, scored a run after another pinch hit last night. And he did lay off that one. He was to pinch hit on Tuesday night. The Mets made a pitching change, and then Mark DeRosa hit for him. Mike also felt that with that little help in the bullpen, and there's Bernardina with another base hit. The Nats could afford, at least for several days, to play a man short on the bench, because the offense is performing And he's not having to pinch hit for guys a whole lot these days.
Well, they're almost like 2 men short on the bench with Ian Desmond. You don't want to use that guy unless you have to. So you're really looking at a 2-man bench, DeRosa and Moore. You don't want to use your second catcher and Sandy Leon. So Davey Johnson a little short-handed on the bench right now. But like you said, a lot of games coming up, and you need some arms out there in the bullpen.
Here's Jesus Flores. And I felt so bad when I went to chat with Ian this morning, just sitting in his locker, so frustrated. I mean, he wants to play so badly. But in a true professional vein, he said, you know, the ball club's going well without me. You know, he's going crazy, but at least he's not costing his team ball games. And he's feeling good about that. He's the #1 cheerleader for Lombardozzi and Espinosa when they're in there. That tells you a lot about that young man. Flores 1 for 7 in the series. In his career, he's 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs against R.A. Dickey. Last time the Nats faced R.A., Jonathan Solano was the catcher that day.
Well, if you're only as good as your last at-bat, Jesus Flores had a line drive single last night in his last AB for one of the harder hit balls he's hit in a long time.
Bernardina, good speed, jumps off first with that lead again. Josh Thole, 29% caught stealing behind the plate. R.A. Dickey, he moves toward home plate and gets rid of it in a hurry. And FP, you know more about this than I do, but that's one of the quicker releases I've seen from any pitcher in either league this year.
Well, that graphic says it all. 0 for 2 opposing runners. Not the 0 for, but the 2.
Yeah.
Only 2 attempts because he's so quick to the plate. And Bernardina's trying to get a jump at first base right now. I think the only way you can steal off R.A. Dickey is if you time him up, if he gets into a rhythm out there, and then you're lucky enough to get a knuckleball that bounces in the dirt.
2-2.
Big league by Bernardina.
He's holding. Flores a little tapper. Dickey to second. And then the relay, and the Mets turn a very good double play. 1-4-3 with Justin Turner in the middle of it. And R.A. Dickey continues to shut down the Nats after the Zimmerman home run last inning.
Play to end it. Pretty nifty double play at that. R.A. Dickey getting rid of the ball quick, and that's where this double play is made. Watch the quick throw right on the money to Turner. He clears himself, throws onto first base to get the double play, but what you didn't see is Roger Bernardina grabbing a little thigh right here on the slide into second base. Angel Hernandez right on top of it. He called interference, so it would have been a double play either way, but still a nice double play by the Mets to end that inning. He's telling Roger, you cannot grab the second baseman on the way by. Bo Porter talked to Angel Hernandez. Then Davey Johnson came out. I'm wondering what the call was all about.
Well, Sharks have been known to do that.
They took a bite out of Turner's thigh.
And we go to the top of the third. It was a 1-4-3 anyway, but Angel Hernandez right on top of it out there at second base. Here's Ruben Tejada. And Gio Gonzalez needs a clean third inning. 33 pitches, 23 strikes in the first two, and he's given up 3 runs on 2 homers. I know we've talked about this many times during the year because the Nats have been in this position, but it's hard to sweep. And it's interesting. It's almost as if this game of baseball, in that third game when you're trying to sweep, something will happen early in the game where the game kind of tells you, you know what, I'm not going to make it easy on you today. And a very unusual situation with a non-home run hitting team going deep twice against a pitcher who's given up 4 home runs in, what, 3.5 months? Not to say the Nats aren't going to come back and win it, because I'm sure they feel they can, but this game is so interesting in certain situations when you think you kind of have it figured out. 2-2.
Well, I think for Gio Gonzalez, the key is to keep the game right where it's at right now and find a way either to get to Dickey number 1 or get into that Mets bullpen any way you can, number 2.
Payoff pitch with nobody out. Base hit up the middle. Ruben Tejada's second hit of this series. He'll make a big turn of that bag. The Mets have some good aggressive base runners on that team. One of them's coming into the batter's box, Andres Torres. Day-night doubleheader for you on Saturday. First game at 1:05. Looks like John Lannon will go in that one. And that's a makeup game from June 1st, and then the Wallflowers concert follows the 7:05 game. Separate ticket required for each admission, and only a 7:05 ticket gets you into the concert with the Wallflowers. Torres straight back with that attempt.
I mean, he almost fouled that bunt off to the booth. I mean, you can't get any more of a bunt than he just got right there. That ball was hit.
And by the way, right now, tomorrow night, Steven Strasburg and Tommy Hanson, John Lannon, Ben Sheets in that first game Saturday, Edwin Jackson and Randall Delgado in the night game. And then Ross Detweiler takes on Jair Jurgens Sunday afternoon. That ball is scorched. Left center, plugging the gap, and it'll one hop, and the Nats get a break as it goes into the seats because Ruben Tejada would have scored easily. So for now, second and third, nobody out.
And that's a crushed brick warning track that the Nats put in the offseason. It's supposed to keep the ball in the park, and we've seen it do that the majority of the time. It's softer dirt, so when the ball hits it, it's supposed to play off the fence. But with the hot temperatures recently, it was like a Super Bowl right there. You called it. Nats catch a break.
Nice catch on one hop by one of our good fielding fans out there. And now it's David Wright. And early in the ball game, you're down by 2. Do you walk him? But there's a Hairston and then Bay, a couple of right-handed batters coming up after that. You don't often talk about intentional walks this early in a ball game.
Well, with nobody out, too. I mean, maybe with 2 outs, yeah, 1 out, you think about it. No outs. I think you pitch very carefully to David Wright. Maybe in Gio Gonzalez's mind, it's an 0-2 count, meaning you're going to give him your best pitch. If he forces the issue and tells you that he wants to go ahead and swing, you keep bouncing stuff, trust your catcher to block it. But with the base open, you're not going to lay fastballs right in there for David Wright.
Absolutely not. A 4-pitch walk here would be just fine. Now Flores will stand up, and he looks over to the dugout, and I think somebody might have just held up 4 fingers. So they're going to load him up, paying David Wright some third-inning respect right here.
And it was Davey Johnson that held up the 4 fingers in the dugout at the last minute. So maybe Steve McCatty taking a trip to the mound. Talked to Gio Gonzalez, told Davey Johnson what Gio said, and Davey said, all right, let's just put him on.
Here's something else for you. David Wright, after that home run first inning, 5 out of 7 career against Gio Gonzalez. That'll change your mind.
Yeah, 353, 13, and 62 might have a little bit to do with it as well.
You are correct, sir. It'll be Scott Hairston now. David Wright walks for the 53rd time this year. Boy, his on-base percentage of .441 is going up on twice today. 3rd in the league in the walks. He is just dominant in so many categories right now.
Pitch number 46 coming from Gio Gonzalez early in this baseball game.
Scott Hairston has bounced into 5 double plays this year. It's a fastball, 93, that misses away.
And saw Ross Detweiler to Scott Hairston. Everything on the outer half, fastballs away. And I think they're trying to do the same right here.
Yeah, same speed. This one hit out of play. Counts even 1-1. Braves have added another run over the Giants and lead 3-1, 4th inning in Atlanta. And the Nats are fighting for their lives early in this one. So the Nats have retired the Mets 16 out of 19 times with runners in scoring position.
It seems like those 3 have been big, though.
Well, one was a pinch hit 3-run homer. So today it's the Mets putting all the pressure on the Nats. And now Gio's behind 2-1. Can't afford to go any deeper in this count. That's low.
This is a spot where if you're Gio Gonzalez, you're just going to have to think lucky. You know you have to throw a strike. You're throwing it against a good hitter against left-handed pitchers. You just hope he hits it right at somebody.
Like that. Can they turn it? Lombardozzi can. The Nats turn a 6-4-3 badly needed, and the Mets get a run to go up by 3. You'll take that in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, bases loaded, nobody out. You're thinking this could be a big inning for the Mets. And Gio Gonzalez makes a perfect pitch in a 3-1 count to get the ground ball. Hairston rolls over to Danny Espinosa. A little 6-4-3 double play, just what the doctor ordered. Lots of applause on the Nats bench.
Keeping it reasonable, and here's Jason Bay with a runner at 3rd, 2 outs, and Gio goes to work on him quickly and misses up and in. He's having a hard time throwing first pitch strikes right now. But a pitch like that can totally turn around a pitcher's day and that of his teammates.
Yeah, the key for Gonzalez when he's going good is to stay on that backside, ride the back leg for a click before he goes home. Today, maybe just a hair in a hurry, having trouble locating the fastball in the outer half. That was a pretty good change right there. Didn't get the call.
Yeah, 2-0 changeup to Jason Bay. Nissan on the pitch track.
84 miles an hour right down the middle. Was it high enough? Pitch track says yes.
Get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at their summer saving days. Visit ChooseNissan.com or your local Nissan dealer. 3-1 now. Close to the corner but missing. Second walk of the inning. First unintentional. And all this does is get Gio to a lefty-lefty matchup with Ike Davis.
I think Gio felt like that was a strike. You saw the reaction. Watch Gio Gonzalez, not the pitch. And a full back turn to Chris Conroy after the 3-1 fastball, called ball 4.
Ike Davis on a breaking ball, homered straightaway center. You know, that might be the big blow of the game, because the Nats had just scored to make it 2-1, and then Ike Davis sent a message, hey, we're not done. Now they've scored his run and another. First and third, 2 outs.
Well, if this game's anything like the first two, or maybe all the games against the Mets, it's like the NBA. Turn it on in the fourth quarter. Just go do something, come back in the 8th inning, because that's when all the fun starts.
Well, hey, we got a lot of work to do for the next 5 or 6 innings.
You got it till the 8th. I'm going to go get a hot dog right now. I'll be back.
That better be a foot long.
Come back when it's 4-4 in the 8th.
2-0. Mets have 5 hits already, 2 walks. Target is on the outside edge, and Gio misses well off the plate. Ball 3. And that pitch count is really mounting.
Steve McCaddy going to the phone right now as we speak.
25 pitches this inning, and 15 of them have been out of the strike zone.
It looks like Craig Stammen is moving around in the Nats bullpen.
Yeah, now he's moving up onto the mound. Gio Gonzalez, shortest outing of the year. 3 2/3, his first appearance at Chicago. Only other time he's been under 5 innings is 4 2/3 here against Atlanta June 3rd in a 3-2 loss. Laced into left, and that's on the ground in front of Michael Morse, who was playing Ike Davis like he's Babe Ruth. I mentioned the first time up, the Nats were playing him very deep in center and in left, and that ball dropped well in front of Michael Morse, and now it's 5-1.
Ike Davis does have opposite field pop. So that's probably a little respect from the left fielder, Michael Morse.
2 RBIs for Davis today, who had never faced Gio Gonzalez. And Justin Turner, who flied to right first time, a chance to add on more.
And you'll do that as an outfielder. If a guy comes up his first time and hits a home run to straightaway center field, you're going to give him some respect.
Well, and I thought the Nats knew something about Davis, because they were playing him that way the first time up as well. And then he lost one over the head of Roger Bernardino. And a breaking ball bounced out to short. Espinosa will go to first. And another costly inning. The Mets pick up 2 more. 3 hits and 2 walks, and they lead 5-1. At Cox.com. Check it out today. The Mets got started early with a David Wright home run. Ryan Zimmerman answered bottom of the first. Since then, the Ike Davis show with a homer, single, 2 RBIs.
It's been the story of the day, the long ball. David Wright first off. Hits it over the bullpen. Then Ryan Zimmerman says, I'm going to go a little bit to the right and maybe just a hair farther than you did. 2-1 at that point. Then Ike Davis straight away center field. Hits the little mini ambulance out there in a hop. So there's been some serious bolts hitting in this game by both teams.
Gio leads off, bottom of the third. First pitch grounder, David Wright. R.A. Dickey, 35 pitches, 25 strikes so far. Nats have one other hit against him. That was Roger Bernardina's bouncer up the middle with one out in the second. So back to the top of the order here at Nationals Park. Mets are headed home for a 6-game homestand that includes the Nats Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, and then they're going on a long trip to Arizona, San Francisco, and San Diego. Some of the Mets guys I talked to this morning said if we don't win today and the homestand doesn't go well, that elevator may be headed all the way down. Great swing by Lombardozzi, opposite field, base hit.
And I'm sure those people you were talking to did not have a uniform on, because there's no way that the ball club in the dugout on the third base side is thinking anything of the sorts.
Hey, 8 games out in July. They're in it.
And look at that knuckleball. No rotation, or very little. And we talked about it last night. Lombardozzi likes the ball below his belt. He keeps his hands low. Low ball hitter gets a low ball pitch. That's what happens.
Here's Bryce Harper. So the Nats have 3 hits.
Well, he runs into a high knuckleball right here. We got ourselves a ball game.
Harper sharply hit. David Wright flips to second, and they're out at second, safe at first. Angel Hernandez delayed his call to make sure that Justin Turner had stayed on the bag for the 5-4. So David Wright takes a hit away from Bryce Harper.
And what a great play by David Wright, selling out, diving to his left, and watch the backhand feed right on the money. So Wright getting dirty, doesn't have time to get up and do the traditional feed, so it goes backhand to Turner, who does a nice job of clearing himself, and that was pretty close at first base. And I thought initially that they had Bryce Harper. Pretty close right there in the replay.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he got the heel down. A dandy 5-4. And here's Ryan Zimmerman. How big is that play with Zimmerman coming up?
Just a great feed by David Wright after he made that play. Those backhand feeds, those bare hand backhand feeds can go anywhere. Wright's was right on the money.
Ryan Zimmerman has now hit 8 home runs and driven in 22 in his last 20 games. So the most total bases in July. He's right behind the Pirates' McCutchen and the Angels' Mike Trout.
And those two guys are as hot as anybody in the history of the game. McCutchen flirting with the Triple Crown right now.
Yeah, they got themselves back into a first-place tie with the Reds in the Central last night. Those two ball clubs are both 51 and 40.
McCutchen hitting .369. That leads the league. His 22 home runs is 4 behind Ryan Braun.
Zimmerman pops it up right side. Long way to go for a couple of guys, and nobody gets there. Scott Hairston was playing deep. Justin Turner didn't have nearly as far to go, but he was battling the sun over his shoulder. So first and third, 2 outs.
And that might be the break the Nats needed to get back into this ball game. Watch Scott Hairston right here. Just look at his second baseman, Turner, for the ball. And I don't know if he didn't see it or thought that Turner was camped, but he wanted nothing to do with this pop-up. He's looking at his second baseman like, please help me. And the ball drops.
And Scott Hairston, by the way, sunglasses up on the bill of his cap. And you saw Turner raising his glove trying to shade his eyes. So let's see if that's the break the Nats were waiting for. Adam LaRoche takes ball 1 upstairs.
And the way we see it, Ryan Zimmerman has about 15 more of those coming.
Agreed.
He has lined out more than anybody in baseball this year.
Zimmerman's going to be flirting with 260 here before we know it. Adam LaRoche, the team RBI leader with 55. Walked his first time.
And David Wright's almost playing shortstop right now. Bryce Harper can get as far as he wants to down the line.
Adam LaRoche lifting one to right, softly off the trademark of his bat, and Hairston is there to grab it. So the Nats will strand a couple. They've left 3. On to the middle innings. It's all RA and the Mets so far. On Masson, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Introducing Verizon Fios Quantum Speed, internet twice as fast as anything America has ever seen. And by Navy Federal Credit Union. Serving the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, the Department of Defense, and their families. Federally insured by NCUA. Beautiful day for the reflection of our Washington monuments. And here at Nationals Park, top of the 4th inning, Gio Gonzalez to Josh Thole, the Mets catcher. Inside for a ball. Thole struck out swinging first time. R.A. Dickey on deck here in the 4th. Thole in the series, 2 for 5 with an RBI. Good offensive catcher. Hitting just over 270. 3-0. Falling behind has been a factor for Gio Gonzalez today. First 3 innings, 62 pitches, only 35 strikes. Craig Stammen now playing catch for the second time.
I think falling behind in not the biggest strike zone in the world from Chris Conroy has been a combo platter for Gio Gonzalez today.
Yeah, I think from some of our experience this year, when the minor league guys who get called up to work major league games, or kind of the new umpires on the block, they seem to have stingier strike zones than the veteran guys do.
And it's not like Gio Gonzalez has had his pinpoint command today, but borderline calls have not gone his way.
Zimmerman looked at third. LaRoche had to duck on the throw to Lombardozzi. A lot of things happening on that play, but a very quick and efficient bunt. 7th sacrifice of the year by R.A. Dickey. So 5-4 on the sacrifice. And tomorrow night when the Braves are here, the first 10,000 fans 21 and older receive a beer stein presented by Miller Lite. You must enter through the center field gates to pick up that item. Nationals.com/tickets. Curly W on one side and the Miller Lite logo on another, and unfortunately the one I was handed is empty. And Davey Johnson is on his way to the mound. Is this it for Gio Gonzalez? After 3 1/3, this would be his shortest outing as a Washington National, and that is it. 3 walks and 6 hits. And this call to the bullpen, packaged by the UPS Store. We love logistics. An un-Gio-like afternoon. Craig Stammen on the way. They're into the Nats bullpen, and this day in history brought to you by Ocean City, Maryland. Go to OCOcean.com, click on Summer of Thanks special deals and discounts, and on this date in 1910, Cy Young beat the Senators 5-4. How about this? Career win number 500. He would go on to win 11 more and finish his career 511 and 316. That's 827 decisions.
Wow. I mean, that's just taking the ball and not giving it to anybody.
He threw the first World Series pitch in 1903. And that was with the Boston Americans, and they won that World Series. A perfect game, 3 no-hitters, and of course had to be on the All-Century team, and the Ultimate Pitcher Award, other than being handed the World Series trophy, is named after him. So here's Craig Stammen against Ruben Tejada.
And Gio Gonzalez, it was a battle for him all day today. And well, that's baseball. You're only human. You can't go out there every 5th day and beat Cy Young or Sandy Koufax or any great pitcher. You give it your best effort, and you're going to have a couple of those throughout the course of the season, no matter who you are, even Cy Young. It's just baseball. Some days you have it, some days you don't.
Hey, Cy Young lost 316 games.
Exactly.
It's a lot more than Gio or anybody else will ever lose anymore.
He's been so good every time out there, and I think maybe his last start in Miami, the best one I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
You let it all hang out 5 days ago. Some days you don't have it.
And he's not going to go rearrange the clubhouse. He's going to stay in the dugout and cheer for his guys as long as he can. Right now for Craig Stammen to get Ruben Tejada, who's 1 for 2 today. Runner at second base, 1 out, and a 2-1 count.
The one thing I do know is that 5 days from now, it's going to be a long 4 days for Gio. He will be ready to rock and roll.
Well, probably Tuesday night against R.A. Dickey in New York. Pitching matchups we've seen in this series may hold true next week. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's a bouncer, smothered by Flores. Steven Strasburg goes tomorrow. So if the rotation stays on schedule, it'll be Zimmerman, Gio, and Strasburg in that 3-game series at New York, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Andres Torres actually 2 for 2 today with a base hit that he stole. I guess they say you can't steal first base. Well, he pretty much did. And then he doubled his next time.
Yeah, pretty odd to see a guy from the right side of the plate beat out a ground ball to second base. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, it kind of set a tone for that first inning, didn't it? That ball is laced up the middle for a hit on a hop to Bernardina. Tolley comes around and scores as Bernardina boots it. Then he throws to third, thinking maybe, well, if he thought that maybe Tejada was already headed to second base, but the Mets lead at 6-1, and there's something just a little bit off about this one today.
Maybe started with the play you're talking about right here. Bernardina coming up to throw, peeks a little bit, loses the ball, and he gets a big hop, and he gets the bottom of a big hop. Usually you see outfielders bobble a ball when you get that in-between hop. And with the catcher on second base, there would have been a play at the plate.
Yeah, they don't give an error, but you could make an argument that the bobble caused Tim Teufel to send the runner. So now a runner at first base. That closes the book on Gio, who's responsible for all 6 of those earned runs.
The most surprised guy in that play was Ryan Zimmerman, but the throw came into him.
So Gio goes 3 1/3, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 1 intentional, and 2 strikeouts. 68 pitches, 37 strikes. And the Mets lead 6-1. Long way to go. I guess the big question now for the Mets is, can R.A. Dickey pitch long enough to keep his bullpen out of this game? Because the Mets have serious bullpen issues, which the Nats hopefully can get a taste of later on. 2-0 pitch misses. He's on deck again. Now he'll bat with 2 on.
Top of the order, first 3 guys have been on base 7 times today so far for the Mets. Tejada twice with 2 singles. Torres with an infield single, a double, and a walk. And David Wright with a home run and a walk. Top of the order on fire today for New York.
And the stingiest pitching staff in the league has now walked 4 batters with 1 out in the 4th inning. So David Wright in this series 6 for 10, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, and a walk. And Craig Stammen's going to have that good hook piece going right here. I think we've seen what David Wright can do with a fastball. And he buries the fastball, and it rolls right up the arm of Jesus Flores. Not bad for a guy who broke his finger the first time these teams met this year. Remember, he had that hairline fracture of his pinky in New York, and you and I are thinking, boy, they're in trouble. Well, he sat out a total of 3 days, homered his first at bat back, and hasn't stopped since.
And I remember the headlines in the Post the next day. It said, "Fun while it lasted."
You're right. Yeah, not even a week into the season, they were already getting ready to shift all their coverage over to the Yankees. Fun while it lasted. David Wright approaching 200 career home runs. Nats hope to get him out of town before that happens. He could be flirting with 200 by the time they see him next week. Kind of reached out, tried to hook that ball, and now it's 1-2.
Well, that was a pull swing for a fastball in the outer half.
Yeah.
You can tell what a hitter's thinking by the way he swings, how he reacts to a pitch. He was looking fastball, just looking fastball in, got one away and swung anyways. Well,
once again, the Nats need a ground ball right at somebody. Instead, a fly ball to deep center. Bernardina back, and it's over the wall. Roger ran into the wall, preventing him from a chance to jump. And David Wright is having a good week in this series. The Mets lead 9-1.
Second home run of the day for Wright. 5 RBIs. And this game is only in the 4th inning. And Roger Bernardina had a beat on this. He just gets too close to the fence, gets pinned up against it. But if he knew where the wall was and he jumped, and we've seen Roger jump before, he's got a chance to make that play.
You know, that's almost the identical play we saw in Colorado when Dexter Fowler did the same thing. He ran into the wall before he could jump. Still only 1 out here in the 4th. And the Mets have 9 runs on 8 hits with 3 home runs. 3 men today who have walked have scored. 18th multi-homer game of David Wright's career.
David Wright is homered in his last 3 official at-bats. Last one last night. 2 here today, sandwiched by a walk.
1 ball and 2 strikes now to Scott Hairston, is 0 for 2. So David Wright now has 14 homers and 65 RBIs. In the RBI department, that puts him 1 behind Carlos Beltran for the league lead, tying him with Andrew McCutchen and Ryan Braun. If he was on a ball club in first place, some people would be chanting MVP. Little flare right side, LaRoche back, and then the angle for Lombardozzi. He'll grab it, 2 outs.
You know, I thought that tough travel day was going to rear its ugly head yesterday. But the Nats fought to a 4-3 victory, and you could make the argument that getting in at 4 in the morning, and we've talked about it before. It usually doesn't happen the next day. It's usually 2 days later. But with what we're seeing today in this ball game, you could make the argument that it's 3 days later. A lot of energy and effort put into that extra inning win the first night after getting in at 4 in the morning. Last night, another battle with the Mets, and you're seeing maybe just a little bit of lull today. And that's called a 6-month schedule in a 162 game season. That happens.
And I'm going back through the schedule here, trying to find blowout losses. They just don't happen to this club.
That's still a long way to go, too.
I agree. Out to short, Espinosa scoops it and fires, and Jason Bay gone. Another big inning for the Mets. They tack on 4 more and lead 9-1. the Nats on this tough afternoon. Where is everybody? Well, you know he's going to stop for something. Free apple pie. Teddy, couldn't you just win the race and wait one more minute for a slice of pie?
That's a charge, Tom. He had his feet set.
You know, they say that's the toughest call in basketball.
It is. But that Geico dealio thing right there had his feet set. Unless he was inside that little line by the basket, then it's not a charge.
R.A. Dickey now, 45 pitches, 32 strikes in 3 innings, faces Michael Morse. Struck him out first time up, and Morse will take that one outside. After this next few seconds, we will not speak of it again. But I've gone back through the schedule this year, and I've found maybe 2 games that you could even consider lopsided losses for this well-balanced competitive ball club. On May 15th, the Padres beat Steven Strasburg 6-1. On May 6th, the Phillies beat Jordan Zimmerman 9-3. That's 2 games in 3.5 months. Now, there was that crazy 11-10 game in Colorado, but that was a close game. David Wright on the run. He's doing everything else. He might relieve R.A. Dickey if he can't go 9, and Danny Espinosa will be next. But FP, it speaks to how competitive and how well fundamentally this team has played all season long. And as you said, plenty of time today to make a comeback. But these are uncharted waters for us for the most part.
Well, I have it figured out. The Nats don't play well on camp day. There's 10,000 campers here today. They're all in attendance. Tons of school buses outside. And I'm thinking about the 4th innings right when the sugar high wears off. Pretty loud for 3 innings. And now, crickets. And it might be because of the score, but I'm thinking all the sugar these kids ate on the bus on the way here. Very loud before the game. Lots of screeches early in the game. Now, they're hitting the wall.
Espinosa gets jammed and flies one out. Well, when I went to camp, all we got were bad beans and bug juice. So they're getting sugar, huh?
I have no idea what bug juice is.
Well, it was kind of a glorified Kool-Aid, but you're at camp, so we called it bug juice. And the bases are empty with 2 outs now for Roger Bernardina.
I wonder what all these camps are. You got your traditional camps, maybe sailing camp, swimming camp.
You have horse riding camps this time of the year, baseball camp, softball, soccer.
I would love to go to eating camp, where they just have food everywhere and you eat straight for a week.
Well, you just came from our media dining room.
You know what I know that's not around here? Bunting camp. Kids don't go to bunting camp. Make your bed camp.
Don't sass your parents camp. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Bank robbery camp, not very popular this year.
Bernardina singled up the middle first time up. And R.A. Dickey's going to walk him right off the field with a fastball for a strike. Dickey in control and plenty of run support today. fifth inning now. Craig Stammen trying to get some outs, keep this game settled down for a while. It's all Mets 9-1, and for solutions that help you achieve your financial goals, PNC Bank. For the achiever in you, we check in on 32nd round draft choice just last year. Billy Burns out of Mercer University in Georgia, small school guy. Look at the on-base percentage and all over the bases, hitting with runners in scoring position. 22 years of age. I guess they call him a pepper pot. He's 5'9", 180 out of Marietta, Georgia, Atlanta suburb.
It's a big league name, Billy Burns.
It is.
Call him up. He's ready.
Craig Stammen on a pitch away, gets a ground ball to Lombardozzi. Plenty of time to get rid of it this time, and he throws out Ike Davis. Potomac Nationals have a lot going on. Uncle Sam Piggy Bank Friday tomorrow. Lunchbox giveaways, campouts, and fireworks. Saturday and Family Day on Sunday. Every night, something fun going on at the Fitz. 703-590-2311 or PotomacNationals.com. Justin Turner next here in the fifth. And we wish the Nationals down there well in their quest to get a new ballpark. It's been in the news this week.
They should be playing well. They've had a big league team half the year.
Yeah, and Jason Worth, as we mentioned, he'll be getting some ABs down there with the P-Nets. As we mentioned last night, there's winning and contending as a team taking place all over the Nationals organization. That ball off the glove of Ryan Zimmerman. Justin Turner checks in with a base hit, and Ryan chases it down in the outfield. They'll give him a base hit. If Ryan Zimmerman can't glove it cleanly, most probably no one can. 1 on 1 out for the Mets, who now have 9 hits. And that'll bring in Josh Thole, the catcher. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, game flying down there. Bottom of the 7th. And behind Tim Hudson, they lead the Giants 3-1. Freddie Freeman has homered again today. His 13th, and David Ross, giving Brian McCann a breather today, has hit his 5th home run. Josh Thole has struck out and walked. Steven Strasburg and Tommy Hanson tomorrow night. Braves will be here for the first of 4. Strasburg will bring that 10-4 record and a 2.66 ERA into that game. And a drive to right. That's over Bryce Harper. One hops the scoreboard. Runner approaching third. Turner. Tim Teufel holds him as Harper hit the cutoff man. And now the Mets have second and third, 1 out with R.A. Dickey coming up.
And Josh Thole with another good swing. Usually he's an opposite field guy, but he gets a fastball in the inner half, looking for it in there. Rides it over the head of Harper. Bryce does a nice job of getting it back in, but the damage already done. Second and third, 1 out here in the top of the 5th.
And you got to bring the infield in here. R.A. Dickey, the pitcher, he can handle the bat. 0 for 1 with a sacrifice today. Should be swinging away. Bunting up 9-1 wouldn't sit well with a lot of people.
Now they're probably going to swing away, and I think the Mets are a couple runs away from Davey Johnson having the opportunity to maybe get a few guys off their feet today. The guys that have been grinding it out, like Ryan Zimmerman, Danny Espinosa, I probably can't get him off his feet because of the injury to Desmond, but you know, maybe even Bryce Harper.
Yeah, the Nats, if you look at the extra men, if you don't want to use Sandy Leon, who was activated today, for Solano, you've really only got Mark DeRosa and Tyler Moore. But a good point, FP, to get some guys off their feet.
You put DeRosa at third base, Tyler Moore in the outfield, maybe even get Adam LaRoche off his feet at first base.
No balls and 2 strikes. And Dickey will foul one away. Now, fortunately, this year, as we mentioned, this hasn't happened much. But last year, Davey would handle situations like this. And he always made a great point. Sometimes at this level, you have to learn how to lose a game so you live to fight tomorrow and the next day and the day after that.
Yeah, with 4 games coming up in 3 days, I would not be surprised if some guys call it an early day.
0-2. Dickey grounds to short. Runners are staying. Espinosa fires to LaRoche. 2 down. Chad Tracy swinging the bat. Jason Worth swinging the bat, and then Chad Tracy doing a little backhand with the first baseman's mitt over there earlier this morning.
At exactly 11:05 a.m. Doing some backhand work. Jason Worth hitting again today. Chad Tracy on the field. And I was interested to see how Jason Worth looked offensively. Pretty good again today. Chad Tracy swinging the bat, moving around nice at first base. It'd be nice to get both of those guys back.
Fastball up and into Ruben Tejada. 2 for 3, 2 runs and RBI today. Nobody in the Mets lineup coming into this game had more than 2 hits in this series. And some guys like Tejada and Torres have certainly taken care of that, as well as Ike Davis. It was all David Wright for their first 2 games. Stammen gets a strike. Fastball 90 at the knees.
And we always talk about saving the bullpen. Tom Gorzelani's done a nice job all season long of coming into games, and maybe games that were within reach, borderline out of reach, and keeping the bullpen down. And like we just said, 4 games in 3 days coming up against the second place Braves. Craig Stammen could go a long way in this game. It would sure help the bullpen.
Yeah, it might be a day to get Drew Storen an inning.
Well, that's a guy that's raring to get in there. Opening day for Drew Storen if he gets in.
Nats have only given up double-digit runs a couple of times this year. 11 to Houston back in April, and then that crazy 11-10 game at Colorado.
Well, the staff has been so amazing, especially the starting rotation, that when they give up 4 or 5 runs, you're thinking, wow. You know, usually a rough day for them is 3 or 4.
2 balls and a strike. Craig Stammen to Ruben Tejada. And another called strike with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
Ruben Tejada's taken 2 fastballs right down the middle and hitting counts in this at-bat with runners in scoring position.
And a 2-2 with a look to third. Count goes full. Top of the 5th inning. Mets on top by 8, out hitting the Nats 10-4. In about 15 minutes, the Marlins get started at Chicago. Mark Burley, who was brilliant against the Nats, 9-8 with a 3.13 ERA, takes on Paul Maholm in that game. The Marlins have fallen 10 back of Washington. Look at R.A. Dickey, 55 pitches in 4 innings. Gonzalez and Stammen nearly twice as many. Another 3-2 pitch. Another foul.
And a tough day to have a short bench. Guys have been standing on defense a long time. Perfect opportunity, like we talked about, to get some rest, but not a lot of opportunities to get in there.
Pretty good battle now with Ruben Tejada and Craig Stammen. They play him straight away in left and pretty much in right. Center fielder Roger Bernardina. About 3 cuts of the grass toward the right center gap, and another 3-2. Finally, Stammen gets one by Ruben Tejada. For the first time today, the Mets do not score, and they lead 9-1 halfway through this one. On to the bottom of the 5th inning. Well, there's no mercy rule in Major League Baseball. You play as hard as you can the rest of the day. Hope you can make something happen against a guy like R.A. Dickey. And how about him really doing some historical things for the Mets? Discover Kia's full lineup of high-quality, stylish, and dependable vehicles. To learn more, visit Kia.com. And first 18 starts comparing beautifully with Tom Seaver in the Amazons World Series run of 1969, and then Dwight Gooden 16 years later.
He has 12 first-half wins, the most by a Mets. Frank Viola won 13 in 1990, and 2 shy of the team record set by Tom Seaver in 1969 and 1970.
Jesus Flores. And Doc Gooden was an amazing young arm when he came to the big leagues as a teenager. Jesus Flores. By the way, that season by Gooden, and that bat goes slamming back to the backstop. That was the year Doc Gooden in '85 went 24-4 with a 1.53 ERA. They lost the Eastern Division by just a couple of games to St. Louis. And as they packed up their gear near their lockers on the last day of the season, Howard Johnson said across the clubhouse, "Doc, if you hadn't lost those 4 games, we would have won this thing." The gallows humor of Major League Baseball. Unbelievable season. 24-4. He threw 276 and 2/3 innings, 268 strikeouts. Unbelievable.
And that '86 team that Davey Johnson managed to a World Series. One of the craziest teams in the history of Major League Baseball.
You mean with a guy like Ray Knight on it? That's a swing and a miss on a knuckleball. Strikeout number 4 for R.A. Dickey, who will face Craig Stammen. Craig Stammen 0 for 1 this year, but he does have 16 career hits.
Yeah, check out the knuckleball. It's thrown with the fingertips, not the knuckles. R.A. Dickey digging those 2 fingers in there with the nails, and you look at the rotation, pretty much none. It's so good that Josh Tolley couldn't even catch it.
So Craig Stammen, a pretty good hitter himself, over 220 career, 16 hits, 75 at bats, with 10 RBIs. His second AB of this season. And we saw Craig as a starter swing the bat well.
And the Giants on a sac fly from Buster Posey just made that game 3-2 in the 8th, down by 1.
There'll be some series in August when the Nats go to San Francisco after having swept the Giants here. Stammen will get this one by the mound, but not by Dickey. Look at that play, but he pulled Ike Davis off the bag. So Craig Stammen could get a base hit.
Let's see how they score. Dickey off the mound might have had a little more time than he thought. Threw the sidearm throw to first base. And maybe when you throw so many knuckleballs, you throw one conventional style and you forget how. You see the short arm stroke right there. Almost like he throws his knuckleball. The only difference is he gripped it like a fastball and threw it high.
They're going to give him an error on that. David Wright might have had a better play with all those momentum going toward first base. But Stammen's aboard with 1 out here in the 5th. And Lombardozzi 2 left for Jason Bay. 2 outs. Bringing in Bryce Harper. July 22nd, the Sunday game. The Braves will be here. First 10,000 fans. 22 and under receive a kids t-shirt presented by the Potomac Nationals. You must enter through the center field gates to receive that item. Nationals.com/tickets and some restrictions apply.
I have one right here. It has Script Nationals across the front with top prospect underneath, 2 words I'd ever heard, and a curly W down the left-hand corner.
Is that a P-Nats logo on the back? It is.
It is.
They've got a neat logo down there. It's a red, white, and blue letter P with some stars and stripes in it.
I'll see if it fits.
Been a while since you've been 12 or under. And that's on the inside corner. I hope if that P gets this thing on, we may not be able to get it off him. You look like a junior in high school trying to impress the girls at summer camp with that thing on.
It fits right over my Masson polo. We are ready. I got my kids' rally shirt on.
Oh, boy. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Harper holds up on that one. I've never seen you look so curvaceous.
Fits perfect.
Harper drives this one to left with Jason Bays right there. And the Nats will go quickly in the 5th inning. They've stranded 4. And on to the 6th inning. The Mets lead 9-1. This ball game on to the 6th inning, and the Mets lead 9-1. As we thought, the Nats might start giving some guys time off. Tomorrow night, Steven Strasburg and Tommy Hanson, John Lannon, Edwin Jackson go in the split doubleheader on Saturday, and then Ross Detweiler on Sunday. Our friends from DC 50 will join us, and it's on to New York for the first of 3 against the Mets. So there's your next 5. And, of course, Johnny and Ray, Nats Extra, 30 minutes before every game, and then for 30 minutes or so after every Nationals telecast right here on MASN. There's Mark DeRosa giving Ryan Zimmerman the rest of the day off at third. And that's good for both of them. Mark needs some time on the field, and Ryan needs some time off now.
Well, the matchup for the Braves series is Strasburg versus Tommy Hanson, John Lannon versus Ben Sheets, Edwin Jackson versus Randall Delgado, and Ross Detweiler versus Jar Jurgens.
And the Nats against the Braves this year, by the way, the same record they have currently against the Mets, 6-2. Including a 2-game split here earlier when 1 game was rained out. So there are still a couple of rainouts to make up, and one of those will be Saturday at 1 o'clock. For the Mets, top of the 6th, Andres Torres, perfect day, single, double, walk, 3 runs scored. This time he bats from the left side. And he was actually the second man to face Craig Stammen after the Tejada base hit in the 4th, right before the crushing 3-run homer by David Wright that turned this one into a rout, at least for now. Serious jam job there. Mark DeRosa, foul ball. He gets a touch, 1 out. Well, the Mets box score, just kind of start with Mr. Wright and go on from there. 2 homers, 5 RBIs, walked intentionally in between, but also Ike Davis, a big 2nd inning solo shot, and later an RBI single. Not to be forgotten, the Mets are 4th in the National League in runs scored, 6th in batting average. So David Wright, batting average now up to 355. Melky Cabrera started the day, and he has a hit today. He's at 354. Andrew McCutchen, 369. He has the day off. Here's an AT&T fact of the game for you. Look at that. Only 6 games all year has he not been on base. That's amazing. His on-base percentage, 2nd in the league, came into today at 441, so it's up around 450 now. Joey Votto's on the DL. His is 465.
That's a lot of nights with good sleep for David Wright. Whew. You go over, you toss and turn, you think about your at-bats all night. 6 times this year, David Wright has went home and thought, I didn't have a good game. The rest of the time, he's done something to help his club. I used to joke about that all the time with Tony Gwynn. It must be nice to go home with 2 hits every single night.
Popped him up. Save this piece of tape, guys. David Wright made it out. 2 down. Coming into that at bat in this series, he was 7 for 11. The bases are empty for Scott Hairston now. And by the way, Ryan Zimmerman will sit down today with 2 hits. So his batting average approaching 260 now. And there's another pop fly to the right side. Bryce Harper right there. A 1-2-3 inning. The first time that has happened for a Nats pitcher today. out in the red loft, red porch area. But it's a day, really, 90 degrees of game time and getting warmer to be under the shade.
Everybody up in the top of the red loft. It looks like it might not hold everybody at this point. There's so many people up there. And if you look at all the shade spots around the ballpark, everybody moved into them.
Can't blame them. And we're in the shade up here, but we've got our fans going. It's warm today. Very muggy at the ballpark. Not a whole lot in the Nationals box score other than a home run swing by Ryan Zimmerman with 2 outs in the first inning. Ryan with a rocket to the end of the bullpen, first row up there in left center for his 11th of the year, 44th RBI. So here in the 6th, Mark DeRosa, who came in to replace Ryan at third, will get an AB.
And I think that was a knuckleball at 85.
That's pretty hard for a knuckleball.
Yeah, it tailed at the end. It might have been a fastball, but
fair ball. Mark DeRosa has a base hit. He's now 1 for 2 career against R.A. Dickey, checking in with a leadoff double here in the 6th.
And don't forget about DeRosa off the bench the other night. A big walk, stole second base, scored on the Lombardozzi single to left, and off the bench again doing something to help the ball club. These at-bats in a 9-1 game, when you come off the bench, they're for yourself. And most at-bats are for your team, but when you don't play a lot, you have to be selfish. You go up there and work on something. And the fact that you can get on the board with a knock in a game where there's only been 4 for your ball club up until that point, it's a nice job by DeRosa.
Ground ball right side. Adam LaRoche thrown out by Justin Turner from short right field, and Mark DeRosa to third base with 1 out. Well, Terry Collins doing some shifting of his own. Kurt Neuenhuis, after a torrid start to his major league career, batting .262 now, and this will be his first appearance of this series. Replaces Scott Hairston in right field. An RBI opportunity for Michael Morse, who has 18 of them on the year. Mike tried to let that ball get deep, and then he fouled it off. R.A. Dickey looking for his 54th career win today and his 13th of the year. Getting great run support in his quest to go 13-1. Morse will drive this ball to right. Neuenhuis to his left. DeRosa tagging. Mark moving well, scores easily, and the Nats are back on the board. It's now 9-2.
Good piece of hitting by Michael Morse. Take that knuckleball the other way. And they all add up. You want to tack on earned runs to a guy on the mound. You never want to give up. Every at-bat counts, all the cliches. But give Mark DeRosa some credit off the bench. Nice job with the double. Good hitting by Michael Morse.
And Danny Espinosa is going to bat right-handed against R.A. Dickey.
Good time to test it out, right?
Why not? We talked about it earlier that this could be a prudent thing to do. And we'll see how it turns out. One at bat, a small sample, but in a 9-2 game, why not? Danny, by the way, all season long has been good and consistent from the right side. 301, 28 for 93. And you told me that you ventured into this territory a time or two as a player, right?
Yeah, Tim Wakefield needs to turn around the right side, try to get that knuckleball up and get on top of it.
That ball ripped, and the experiment works.
And that's his first hit in 16 at-bats against R.A. Dickey, and it comes on the right side.
Yeah, you're right. He was 0 for 15.
And Danny and I have talked about that before against knuckleball guys. And Rick Eckstein trying to get him to try it. He finally does, and guess what? He'll never hit left-handed against R.A. Dickey again. It just feels so weird for a switch hitter to go up there and stand on the right side of the plate and see the ball coming from a right-hander.
Bernardina trying to drop one into left. Jason Bay on the run. And the Nats will be limited to a run on 2 hits in the 6th. The Mets still in control, leading 9-2. Station for you. Little mister with the fan. By the way, the Nats have certain meeting rooms around the ballpark designated on these hot days as cooling stations where you can go and get a little water and cool off. May need it for the first game of that doubleheader on Saturday. First game at 1:05. Come and watch John Lannon cheer John on in his return to the major leagues. It's a makeup game from June 1st, Game 2. The Nats live postgame concert afterwards with the Wallflowers. Only a ticket for the night game gets you into the concert. So separate admissions. The ballpark will be cleared after the first game.
Bob will be playing his guitar on the field between games if you want to stay after game 1.
No, I'll be on the center field plaza with my guitar case open for donations. And if you want to pay me to shut up, I'll take those too.
Free scorecards between games in the Bob Carpenter concert after game 1.
Yeah, let's see how many people show up for that non-happening. So Sandy Leon gives Jesus Flores the rest of the day off. Good to see Sandy back in the big leagues after that horrible accident he had. Just a couple of innings into his major league career, getting wiped out at home plate. And now Jonathan Solano, saw him all bandaged up this morning. His left side all wrapped up because he has an oblique problem. Christina, I know you were at Sandy's locker this morning to chat with him about his return.
He was all smiles, Bob, to be back in this clubhouse today. He got the call yesterday. Unfortunately, it was because of Jonathan Solano getting injured, but he said it's an opportunity for me. He was asked, when you went down after just several innings in your big league call-up, were you thinking that the window of opportunity was closed? He said, absolutely not. I was very optimistic. I got right to work healing my ankle. He says he's feeling great. The ankle feels great, and he's happy to be up here and start playing a full 9 innings eventually when it comes to getting in games.
Good for him. And by the way, he also said Akron, Ohio is now his second favorite city in America. Washington's number 1. Both times he got called up, the Syracuse ball club was in, or rather the Harrisburg ball club was in Akron. And Henry Rodriguez will evidently do some work after Craig Stammen here. So Sandy Leon, we welcome a very nice young man back to the big leagues. Good for him. He'll be the leadoff hitter in the 7th, by the way. And the hitter is Ike Davis, who did big-time damage early. Leadoff homer in the 2nd and an RBI single in the 3rd. The Giants are batting in the top of the 9th at Atlanta. I know FP's keeping track of that game as well. It's 3-2. And I'm going to check to make sure Craig Kimbrell is in that game, which you would expect. He is facing Gregor Blanco right now. And I think that game might be going final here any second. It is a final 3-2. Braves win it. And a little tapper that Stammen grabs over on the first base side of the pitching mound. Sandy Leon.
So you wait your whole life to get to the big leagues, and this happens to you. A collision at home plate. Clean shot from Headley. But after the injury to Wilson Ramos, seeing that, it was almost too much for everybody to take, especially in your major league debut. But all's well that ends well. Sandy Leon back in the big leagues and healthy.
Yeah, that happened in the 4th inning. He had one at bat, was called out on strikes in the 2nd. And then the Nats, with Craig Stammen getting the win in relief, came back to win that game 8-5. We'll have more on Sandy when he comes up and bats here in a moment. Justin Turner 1 for 3 with a base hit. And a drive to the gap. Turner's going to be 2 for 4. Bernardino will have to chase it down. Runner at second. 2 outs.
Well, Justin Turner having a big day. First time up, hit a line drive to right field for an out. His 3rd time up a single, 4th time double. Finding the barrel today. Good short swing, gets a slider right out over the plate, and splits the difference between Bernardino and Morse in the outfield.
Davey Johnson will come out and make a pitching change. Craig Stammen will pitch the equivalent of 3 innings, getting this game into the 7th, and the Mets on top 9-2. Mason. So here in the 7th inning, the Nats are just trying to play this thing out, get some things done, give some rest. It looks like Adam LaRoche might be the next one to get a breather, as Tyler Moore will come in here on a double switch, and Henry Rodriguez will get some badly needed work. Craig Stammen got 10 outs at least to get it to this point.
Yeah, Stammen did a nice job. Hand it to Henry Rodriguez. I mean, what are you going to do? We don't have too many games like this where the Nats aren't in it, so you just get yourself back into the clubhouse, live to fight another day, and you got the big 4-game series coming up with the Braves and Tommy Hanson tomorrow night. Including that day-night doubleheader on Saturday. I, for one, am really looking forward to seeing John Lannon back in the big leagues. It may be one start, but it may be a preview of what he does for this ball club in September. And you never know, right? You get a shot, you get back up to the big leagues for John Lannon, a wonderful opportunity. We're excited just to see the guy in person. He's going to pitch, but we miss John Lannon, so it's going to be great to see him. Runner at second and 2 outs. Josh Thole takes a strike from Henry Rodriguez, whose last appearance was a scoreless inning with a strikeout at Miami on Sunday. And he pumps a couple of strikes in there, and when he does that, aren't too many major league hitters looking forward to facing him. Opponents only hitting $172 against him this season. 99 miles an hour. Ball 1. Goes with a breaking ball, and the count's even 2-2. Well, nothing new about this. 7th inning, and R.A. Dickey still in the game. R.A. Dickey has gone 7 innings or more 11 times this year. He's gone 8 innings or more 5 times, and he has 3 complete games. 2 of them shutouts. Rodriguez can't reach it, but Lombardozzi comes in to grab it on the run, and this one gets to the 7th inning stretch. It's been all Mets from the get-go. It'll be Leon, Moore, and Lombardozzi coming up.
.com today. Our game summary, it's about an early swing from Ryan Zimmerman. Some excitement on the bases for Andres Torres, but really the guy that the Mets revolve around is David Wright, especially in this series.
Yeah, homered his last at-bat last night in the ninth. First at-bat today over his own bullpen in left field, so that's 2 consecutive home runs. And how about the feed right there on the 5-4-3 double play? A little backhand job, then he comes up after a walk and homers again, this one to center field. So 3 straight at-bats with a home run for David Wright.
So David Wright in this series, 7 for 12, 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. And by the way, he added 2 more extra base hits onto his total today. He has 46 on the year, and that's number 2 in the league now, behind Joey Votto, so he's number 1 among players that are active right now.
I'm thinking that Drew Storen might get a chance to pitch in this game. Looking in the Nats bullpen right now, he's starting to stretch out a little bit. So for those of you that have missed Drew Storen, you might see him in his 2012 debut here today.
Yeah, and you know, maybe one more inning for Henry Rodriguez, and then Drew Storen, they'll say, hey, it's the 9th inning. Go pretend it's 3-2, not 9-2. Here's the switch hitting catcher, Sandy León, who got 1 major league at bat before getting hurt in that game against the Padres. Sandy's 23 years of age, from Maracaibo, Venezuela. The Nats signed him at the age of 17 in 07. And in 5+ years in the minor leagues, he's hit just under 250. This year, he was hitting .319 with 12 RBIs and 10 doubles in 27 games at AA Harrisburg when he was called up May 13th. That's when Wilson Ramos was hurt, and Sandy León has his first major league hit. A clean single up the middle, and the dugout will be calling for the baseball. He's now a .500 hitter.
Now that was cool. Ike Davis just handed it to Sandy León at first base. Sandy hands it to Trent Jewett.
And Randy Noor will have it in the dugout for a while, and then the clubhouse guys will take care of the rest.
This just never gets old, seeing guys get their first big league hit on a knuckleball off R.A. Dickey in the 7th inning. After all that he's went through, big league debut, the injury coming back, that's sweet. Congratulations, Sandy León.
Here's Tyler Moore's first at bat of the day. And right now, R.A. Dickey is in quick work mode. He goes 2-0. Only 80 pitches in his first 6 innings, 56 of them strikes. And Tyler Moore will have a base hit to left.
The greatest comeback ever started with Sandy León's first big league hit.
I can see the headline tomorrow.
Why not?
Top of the order now, Steve Lombardozzi. Well, at least you'd like to make the Mets sweat this thing out a little bit, get their bullpen working. You get into their bullpen, you never know what's going to happen because they are beleaguered out there.
Or get Bryce Harper up with the bases loaded and see what happens.
Way upstairs.
You'd be asking a lot from your napkin today, but why not?
Dan Warthen, the pitching coach, will make a visit to give the left-hander Tim Burdack, Tuesday night's loser, a while to get loose. The key to getting the Mets late is to get within a run or two because they don't have a true closer. Frank Francisco on the DL with his 18 saves. Bobby Parnell has struggled. Ramirez has 1 save. John Roush has 1.
I would imagine with R.A. Dickey, the arm doesn't get tired. The fingers do. The longer you go into the game.
Yeah, that would be interesting to ask him about that.
The more you're pressing your fingernails into the baseball, the more you're pushing your index and middle finger out towards home plate on release. You would think that would be the part that fatigues, not the arm. And maybe the legs, too.
I don't know if our knuckleball pitchers become their own manicure expert. How to keep the nails and all that. I mean, it sounds funny, but that's very important. And there's Ramirez now joining Burdack. And Lombardozzi can't get that one upstairs. One out for R.A. Dickey, strikeout number 5. Bryce Harper is next. And some of the campers here who are older than Bryce Harper, at least some of the counselors are, want to see this young guy do something big today.
Well, I'm all for home run camp right now.
Probably for a lot of these kids, their first chance to see in person the young man they've heard so much about. (9-2) Mets. That could change in a hurry. Ball gets away. The runners will move up. They're going to call a pass ball on Josh Thole.
And check out the knuckleball from Dickey. Starts up in the zone. Look at Bryce trying to rise up to get on top of that. And realizing that one ain't coming down. Off the glove of Thole. Off the arm of Carlson to the backstop.
Harper with a little dribbler. Dickey, he's going to come home. Out is Sandy Leon. So a 1-2 fielder's choice with a tag required.
It's so hard to hit this knuckleball. Bryce Harper with a big swing, just a little tapper out in front of the plate. And R.A. Dickey saying, you know what, that's an earned run, and I'm going to throw that home. And watch the motion again from Dickey. He has a tough time throwing the baseball. That is a funky looking throw to home plate. We saw him throw one away to first base already, and maybe there's a chink in that armor to where if you bunt a ball on him, he can't throw to first base. The throwing motion from Dickey today, very, very weird.
First and third now, 2 outs, and the hitter is Mark DeRosa, who doubled down the line, and Ian Desmond is on deck because that's the pitcher's spot. Ian told me this morning, he said, I want to play, I can play, but it makes all the sense in the world to be careful because the team's winning. And the Nats need Ian Desmond for the last 2.5 months. No doubt about that.
Well, if that thing blows out, it's a month or a month and a half. So why would you take a chance with winning the first couple of games of a series? The more rest you can give that thing, the better. But once those go, they go. And you feel them the rest of your life. It's like a built-in thermometer in the back where your ribs are. Every time it gets cold, you feel that oblique.
1 ball and 2 strikes. DeRosa, smart hitter, great knowledge of the strike zone, takes it upstairs. DeRosa jacks one to left. Going back is Bay, and halfway onto the track, he grabs it. The Nats leave 2. They've stranded 7 today. Into the 8th inning now, 9-2 New York. We used to call him Clip and Save. Tyler Clippard, Drew Storen, best of buddies, talking about gripping the ball, talking about what's going to happen. And Drew reactivated today. So closing time, look at these guys and the saves. 15 out of 17 for Clippard this year, and Storen career. Actually last year 43 for 48, and in his career overall does have 48 saves. And discover Kia's full lineup of high quality, stylish, and dependable vehicles. To learn more, visit kia.com.
And I'm hoping Drew gets a chance to pitch today. Looking forward to it.
R.A. Dickey leads off the 8th inning. So he's gone at least 7 for the 12th time this year. He's thrown 99 pitches. Given the Nats 1 run on 8 hits. Henry Rodriguez throws one by him, and R.A. was swinging for his first major league home run right there.
Well, he better start swinging right now if he wants to hit it.
I think the best thing he could do is swing right now and go sit down. He'll pop it up. And the call made by Lombardozzi for the first out here. Top 8. When you are out of the market, away from D.C., Maryland, or Virginia, take the Nats with you. Live online on your favorite device and HD quality as well. MLB.tv. Visit Nationals.com for more details and to order. It is baseball everywhere.
A lot of people are asking me what the move is going to be for John Lannon pitching that doubleheader. You could have 26 guys on the roster now.
I think that's a great rule.
I do too.
You know, they used to have to send somebody down for a day. Not that he went down, he'd stayed with the ball club and then reactivate him like the next day. But that uses up options on guys. Henry makes a good play on Ruben Tejada.
So no move has to be made for the doubleheader on Saturday.
Nice. Plus the Nats will have an 8-man bullpen for the weekend against the Braves. 5 righties with the addition of Storen, and then all the lefties stay. This whole thing would be a lot easier if Ian Desmond could get himself back into the lineup. And they've got to be careful with him. Here's Andres Torres. A 34-year-old switch hitter from Puerto Rico, who was a big part of the Giants' run to the World Series 2 years ago. He hit .318 in the series, and there's Drew getting ready for the 9th.
He's got to be nervous. There's got to be tons of butterflies going on down there. You work so hard after surgery to get back. All the rehab and all the hours you spend by yourself trying to get strong again, and going down to the minor leagues and getting your baseball skills going. Everybody else, mid-season form. Drew Storen, it's about to be opening day.
Henry Rodriguez, meanwhile, trying to retire, his 4th consecutive batter. And if he doesn't, you know who's waiting. To Hopper, Lombardozzi. Henry Rodriguez, a nice outing. Nobody hit a ball out of the infield on him in an inning and a third. Bottom of the 8th, straight ahead. On Masson, brought to you by Dodge. Go to Dodge.com or visit your local Dodge dealer today, even if you have to take the water taxi to see them. A little cooler out on the water, hopefully, today. 90 at game time, warmer than that now at Nationals Park. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Ian Desmond will hit 4. Henry Rodriguez, Michael Morse, Danny Espinosa to follow. And if the Nat goes deep today, like Ryan Zimmerman did, $200 to the Children's National Medical Center from your Washington area Lexus dealers. Ian Desmond's second appearance in this series.
Well, let's see if he goes to hacking right here, like he normally does.
First pinch hitting appearance of the season. Ian against R.A. Dickey, career 3 for 19. How about that? What a good swing. So Ian Desmond, 102nd hit of the year in 353 at bats.
So you want to take some positives out of today. You're about to see Drew Storn in the 9th inning. And how about Ian Desmond off the bench? That swing was perfect.
Now hitting 289, by the way.
So you miss a few days. How's the oblique feeling? Easy for me to say, Ian. Pretty good. How's that stomach muscle feeling? Good swing by Desmond and just another lousy single.
Isn't that great? Right under 290 is Ian Desmond. Here's Michael Morse, 0 for 2 with a sac fly today.
With the Braves coming into town for 4 games, the fact that Ian Desmond walked up there, looked healthy, and smoked a single up the middle, that's something to look forward to tomorrow.
Sure is. Marlins, by the way, have been underway at Chicago for a while, behind Mark Burley, and they are scoreless in the bottom of the 3rd at Wrigley Field. 0-2 quickly to Michael Morse, and that one is just off the plate.
That game in the bottom of the 3rd with Mark Burley pitching, probably about 20 minutes old.
He's quick, isn't he?
We had him after 4 innings with 15 minutes total mound time after 4 innings.
Yeah, he spent all those years with the White Sox. He sent some folks home on the south side before they were used to. Sent some of them home about the time of the usual 7th inning stretch.
Well, he could never pitch for the Dodgers because nobody would ever see him.
Danny Espinosa, base hit last time, batting right-handed against R.A. Dickey. And Morse will lace one to the gap in right center. Ian Desmond approaching 3rd. He's just kind of running under control. Bo Porter will send him. He'll score standing up. And Michael Morse has a 2 RBI day. 20 on the year for him, and it's a 9-3 game. 6 outs. A lot of outs still to get for the Mets.
A great swing right here from the Beast. You look at the knuckleball just hanging right out over the plate. A little dip at the end, but the dip was right onto the big barrel of Morse. Splits the gap in right center field, and you knew Ian Desmond was going to score easily. And you also knew that the Nats wouldn't go away quietly.
So here's Danny, 1 for 3. The Nats score another run or 2 quickly. This thing gets interesting in a hurry. Still nobody out here in the 8th. Bernardina next. Mets bullpen is hot. And R.A. Dickey's up to 107 pitches. 109 now. The most he's thrown this year, 117. And that's been a while. That was May 6th against Arizona. He threw 116 3 starts ago at the Dodgers in a lopsided 9-0 win. So he's been over 110 pitches 3 times this year. And today will be number 4. Espinosa with a chopper, and there's nothing Morse can do on an easy play for the first out. Bernardina next. Today's copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. 7 1/3 for R.A. Dickey. So the Nats are into the Mets bullpen. You never know. Don't go anywhere. You've learned that by now, haven't you? Braves will be in town. It'll be Tommy Hanson. 5-1 in his last 8 starts. The Nats have handled him pretty well in the past. He's 10-5. Steven Strasburg's 10-4. And against the National League East, Strasburg is 4-1 with a .231. Ian Ray, Nats Extra, 6:30 at PNI from the booth at 7. First pitch right around 7:05 tomorrow night. 4-game series with the Braves, who will only be 3.5 back of the Nats unless the Nationals can continue this steady workman-like comeback they're trying to engineer here this afternoon. So Michael Morse has driven in 2 runs. He's at second with 1 out. Roger Bernardina coming up. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup with Tim Burdack, who had a really rough outing here on Tuesday night.
Yeah, 3-pitch guy, fastball, slider, change. Fastball in the upper 80s, slider in the low 80s. Same with the change.
He gave up the base hit to Solano in the 10th, the triple by Harper that tied the game. Intentionally walked a couple of guys, got a ground ball, and then they brought in Pedro Beato, who threw the wild pitch that gave the Nats the win. So here's Roger, 1 for 3 today. David Wright in the baseline, off the bag between second and third. Everybody else playing back. Bernardina trying to drag a bunt with him over on the first base side. He popped it over the screen. And a reminder that Sandy Leon, the young catcher who is on deck, is a switch hitter.
I saw a stat the other day. Roger Bernardina was 7 for 16 in base hit bunt attempts last season, and he's 3 for 6 this season.
Wow.
That means half the time when he gets a base hit bunt down, it's a hit.
This time he turns on one and fouls it.
Well, at this point in the game, you need base runners. Anything you can do to get on base. Everybody going up there with a leadoff hitter mentality. Keep the line moving. You never know what can happen.
Their other lefty, Josh Edgin, is throwing. Well, we've seen it in this series. Terry Collins He'll use anybody, anytime off his bench to make a comeback. And I would assume he'll do the same to hold on to a lead in a very important salvage game for him and his ball club. The Mets are trying to break a 6-game losing streak. They've lost 7 of their last 8. This is a must-have for them today. Bernardina strikes out. 2 down.
Yeah, that's the slider right there. Pretty good one. Started it out over the plate, broke it off the outer half. And Bernardina looked like he might have been in pull mode right there. Maybe thinking he was going to throw that slider in. He broke it off away for strike 3.
Leon, first major league hit, batting left-handed up the middle last time up. Went to third on a pass ball and then was thrown out. Tagged at the plate on a ground ball by Bryce Harper.
It's nice to get knocks from both sides of the plate. And sort of your first big league game.
That's outside 1-1. Big crowd today. And the reason we didn't see all of them, a lot of them are up in the shade. 36,389 today, including all the campers. One of the big crowds of the year here. And Leon pulls it and Bo Porter skips out of the way. Quickly 1 ball 2 strikes. Don't forget to text 29292. Actually text Nationals to that number. Starting lineups, in-game updates, and team coverage you can't afford to miss. Masson Mobile Alerts 29292. Target is in. Leon pulls it. David Wright, what else is he going to do today? But the ball gets away, and the Nationals will score. David Wright's throw tailed to the outfield side. It's 9-4.
Game getting sloppy for the Mets right now, and Terry Collins going to come out and get his lefty. That was the last pitch he's going to throw today. Good play by Wright to backhand that hard hit ball off the bat of Leon, but the throw went wide to first base.
And it kind of looked, watch the end of this play. This looked pretty catchable for Ike Davis. It just kind of skipped right off the bottom of his glove.
That might be an E3. Usually it goes to the guy throwing the baseball, but that's in plenty of time. It's in the air. And Ike Davis just missed that. And the door's still open a crack in this one for the Nationals.
So R.A. Dickey will be charged with that run. That last one will be unearned. It has been called an error. And so here comes another Mets reliever. Looks like Ramon Ramirez. Mets are still alive, and it's only the 8th inning, and they are one swing away from making this really interesting. The Washington area Toyota dealers helping children receiving medical treatment with their families at the National Institutes of Health. A donation to the Children's NIH, $37 for every strikeout. Big spot for a power hitter, Tyler Moore, who faces Ramon Ramirez.
Ramirez, a 3-pitch guy, fastball, slider, change, fastball in the low 90s. Tyler Moore probably see fastball, slider.
Ramirez pitched 2/3 of an inning. Got a couple of guys in the 8th inning, Espinosa and Flores on Tuesday night. First time Tyler Moore ever faces him. And he gets a swinging bunt, and that's a base hit.
And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, you need base runners at this point in the game. Doesn't matter how it looks or how you get to first.
Tyler Moore comes off the bench to play first base and goes 2 for 2. Hard to believe, but the tying run is in the hole here as Lombardozzi comes up to bat. Not quite on deck. And here comes Terry Collins again.
Terry Collins needs a W so bad that he is pulling all the strings, pulling all the stops, using everybody in his bullpen. All hands on deck for the Mets here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, evidently Harvey Holstaff is available today. And Lombardozzi will simply turn around and bat right-handed.
First and second, Steve Lombardozzi due up. And how about the last couple of nights for Lombo? 8th inning in the first game of the series. A clutch single off the guy he's about to face right now. That made it 2-0. And how about last night, the big blow that turned out to be the difference from the left side of the plate this time off Miguel Batista. A little shopping at the gap for 2 RBIs. That made it 4-1. So right man in the right spot right now for the Nationals.
Yeah, Lombardozzi doubled a couple of nights ago against this left-hander. So Terry Collins employing his 4th pitcher of this inning. Dickey, Burdack, Ramirez, Edgin. And of course Bryce Harper is next left-handed batter. So a huge at bat for Steve Lombardozzi with 2 men on.
Yeah, Edgin a 3-pitch guy, fastball, slider, change, fastball in the low to mid 90s. And maybe the computer sheet says turn Steve Lombardozzi around to the right side, but if you've been watching the Nationals the last week or so, his right-handed at-bats have been just as good, maybe even better than his left-handed at-bats.
And on the left side of the field, they're playing Lombardozzi like he's a power hitter. Center field, right field, not that deep, but left fielder Jason Bay is. Lombardozzi takes a fastball upstairs. He's 1 for 4 today. There's the defense. And as far as the guys on base, not great speed with Leon and Moore, but they get an advantage because the infielders all play behind them. That's placed to deep short. The bases are loaded And right now, this has to be driving the Mets crazy.
The bases are loaded for Bryce Harper.
A 2-out error, a swinging bunt, and another infield hit. And the tying run is on deck.
Here we go.
And the pitching coach is going to the mound.
And Bryce Harper's at-bats have gotten better and better the last 3 or 4 days off of left-handers. So Lombardozzi coming through again, this time from the right side. About the late inning heroics here from 3 rookies.
By the way, Bryce Harper hit the daylights out of the ball against Edgin in the 8th inning here on Tuesday night and lined out hard to Ike Davis.
Leone a rookie on third, Tyler Moore a rookie on second, Lombardozzi a rookie on first, and how about the rookie at the plate?
John Roush is up. Edgin retired Harper last night on a fly ball to right, so Bryce has been able to pull the ball twice against this left-hander.
Bryce Harper goes deep right here. There's going to be a lot of yellow school buses whipping U-turns out in the parking lot.
They're going to become cheerleading camp. First pitch. Outside for a ball. And, of course, if they lose Harper, right-handed batter DeRosa on deck, and that's why John Roush is throwing.
The guy on deck has hit the ball hard twice.
He gets jammed, flares it to right center, and that ball is caught by the running Kirk Neuenhuis. So Edgin has retired Harper 3 times in this series, and the Nats are down by 5 after 8.
Yeah, go to the top of the 9th, 9-4 Mets. Drew Storn on for his first appearance of 2012. Check out Drew Storn from last year. You know about the 43 saves, the 2-seam fastball slider, occasional change combination. There's the killer slider, as my partner calls it. So opening day for number 22 right now on the mound, and nobody more excited in this ballpark than Drew Storn. In his mind, this is a save opportunity, and I bet you there was a few more butterflies once the bases were loaded in the bottom of the 8th, thinking maybe I'm going to get a save opportunity today, but we'll keep an eye on the velocity, the control, and just the outing, the first one of the year here, opening day for Drew Storn.
Well, he got to the major leagues quickly after throwing nothing but strikes in the minors. Fast-tracked after the Nats picked him up. Originally drafted in the first round, 10th overall player taken, not far behind Strasburg back in 09, after the Nats couldn't come to terms with their previous first-round pick, Aaron Crow. So this guy got signed and just whizzed his way through the minor leagues. Amazing. 64 strikeouts, 11 walks in his minor league career. It's always about throwing strikes for Drew Storn. All over the field now, changes for the Nats. Ian Desmond stays into play shortstop, batting fourth. That moves Danny Espinosa over to second base. Left field, Steve Lombardozzi for Michael Morse. So the pitcher's batting in Morse's spot. Oh, no, it's not Morse. It's Harper who's out. So Morse is in right field. The reason being, Michael Morse would be up third in the bottom of the ninth.
Even the games that seem like they're out of hand turn out to be extremely interesting with this club.
David Wright, Drew Storen's first batter. And he gets a two-hopper to Ryan Zimmerman, or rather Mark DeRosa. Wide throw, Tyler Moore goes out to grab it for the out. Johnny and Ray in the yard, and when this one's over, tune into the Nats Extra Post-Game Show presented by W.B. Mason.
Well, so far, so good. One pitch, ground ball. Hottest hitter on the Mets.
And the first at bat of the series for Kirk Neuenhuis, who's hitting .262 with 7 homers, 27 RBIs. Came into play right field a couple of innings ago. This guy was on fire when the Nats saw him earlier. But the league has made some adjustments to this 24-year-old rookie out of Santa Monica, a third rounder 4 years ago. Hit his first major league homer against Edwin Jackson, April 9th at Citi Field.
That might have been a changeup from Drew right there. 84 miles an hour, 2-2 seam fastballs down in the zone. One for a strike, one for a ball. And he's been working on the changeup. He might have had a little stumble there with his stride foot on the mound. Caught a cleat.
Good tailing action on that pitch. 92 away. Desmond throws out Neuenhuis. 2 down.
You know, that two-seam fastball doesn't have to be 96, 97 to get outs. If it's sinking like that, tough to elevate a pitch. And if you're going to be a closer, you want to keep the ball in the park. You keep that two-seamer down. It's a great sign. I'm waiting to see a slider from Drew Storen.
Not a save situation for Bobby Parnell, but evidently he'll pitch in the ninth. DeRosa, Desmond, and Morse, the do-ups for the Nats. They really turned that lineup over thanks to that 2-out error by David Wright.
And there was the first slider from Storen. It backed up.
Jason Bay 0 for 3 with a walk. And that fastball almost chased him right out of the batter's box. .92 on the fastball.
Good location, good movement, down in the zone. Jason Bay asking Chris Comrie right now if that was a strike. Absolutely, good pitch. Pitchers will do that from time to time, swing at a pitch, turn around the home plate umpire and ask him if it was a strike.
It's pretty well hit out to right center. Hanging up, though, Roger Bernardina in front of the scoreboard. Welcome back, Drew Storen. With a 1-2-3 ninth inning, 3 right-handers coming up. Nats down 5.
Nationals Park on a hot afternoon. Our Nets Extra postgame show is coming up, presented by WB Mason. Johnny Holiday, Ray Knight will be with you. And a little bit too much R.A. Dickey and a tough one for Gio, but nice to see Drew in that ninth inning. Huh?
Oh, great. Hey, you know, it's always about the positives. And Drew Storen coming back is huge. Zimmerman getting some time off. Desi coming into the game late. Surprising. That means I think he's going to be ready for the Atlanta series, hopefully. And a little bit too much David Wright, too.
Well, you're not kidding. 5 RBIs and 2 home runs. We will break it down as best we can after the ball game is over. Let's send you back upstairs with Bob and FP.
Thank you, gentlemen. Bobby Parnell, not a safe situation as mentioned with a 5-run lead, but in save situations lately, just 2 out of 4. And the Nats got him the other night. But Terry Collins must not be feeling real confident. He continues to warm up John Roush. This is game 7 of something for him.
And a 2-pitch guy, fastball, curveball. Fastball in the mid-90s. Lots of curveballs the other night in that save opportunity from Bobby Parnell.
So far, the Nats. Mark DeRosa, 1 for 2. Oh, John Roush has sat down. Now it's Pedro Beato, who threw the wild pitch and walked off the Nats 2 nights ago. DeRosa, 1 for 2. Desmond, 1 for 1. Michael Morse, 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. The Nats hitters, bottom 9, down by 5.
You know, it was nice, Ray, talking about the positives from today. Another positive is you get bench guys in the game who will probably play somewhere on Saturday in that doubleheader.
Yeah.
Get to see some live pitching. Mark DeRosa with 2 good at-bats today, a double and a deep fly ball to left his last time up.
Yeah, Davey may elect to play Ryan Zimmerman one of those 2 games and turn over 4 ABs in the hot corner to this guy. And Parnell with that 92 missing, not as hard as he usually throws. I don't know if he's taking a little bit off to try to throw it for strikes, but he's behind 2-1. There it goes up the middle. Mark DeRosa, 2 for 3.
2 for 3 with 3 good at-bats.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's his first multi-hit game of the year.
And it's a fastball right down the middle, squaring it up, right back where it came from. And I know there's people out there thinking you never know, and I know there's guys in the Nats dugout thinking you never know.
The Nationals have now out-hit the Mets 13-11. So they've refused to fold up on this day when they were down 9-1. There's another AB for Ian Desmond, who lined one up the middle last time. And a breaking ball is in there.
Fastball for a hit right to the curveball. Saw that the other night.
And that hits him. And as long as Ian's okay, that's as good as a hit or a walk for the Nats. 2 on, nobody out. And I'm telling you, the Mets are having a hard time getting these last 6 outs.
We've seen a lot of teams have a hard time getting the last 6 outs against the Nationals this year, not just the Mets.
So Michael Morse is next. And if Washington gets one more base runner, it could become a safe situation for Pedro Beato or whoever comes in. This is really something, the way this team refuses to go away. Michael Morse had a base hit the other way against Bobby Parnell in the 9th inning on Tuesday. Goes that way and flies it to right. Tagging is DeRosa. He'll go to third with 1 out. Corner situation for the Nats with Danny Espinosa 1 for 4 coming up. Well, a busy stretch coming between first pitch Friday and last pitch Sunday. It'll be fewer than 48 hours. 4 games in that time span. How about that? And every pitch on MASN HD with yours truly and my trusty sidekick.
Not just 4 games, 4 huge games. Capitalize huge.
If you need some tickets, don't wait. That's a high strike call by Chris Conroy, the rookie umpire, on a fastball to Espinosa. Danny today 1 for 4 with an opposite field hit. He's hit the ball hard twice. Ever improving from this left side of the plate. And Parnell spins a really nice breaking ball in the dirt for him. 0-2. Then he goes fastball right down the middle, and Danny can walk away. 2 outs.
Yeah, the other night, Danny Espinosa off Parnell saw all curveballs. The last pitch he saw was a fastball, and he was on it. Clutch hit up the middle. Today, Parnell mixes it up.
Desmond runs and just goes down to second base. Roger Bernardino 1 for 4. And Parnell tries to go side door with the breaking ball. It stays out there. 1-1.
1-1 count, 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th. Your Bernardino right here. Bet fastball, get it, try to catch it out front. Throws you a curveball, hang with him.
Yeah, it was a heater up and in. Roger couldn't quite get to it. Mets trying to win their 47th game of the year and break a 6-game losing streak. And they're 1 strike away. Way inside, ball 2. Target away. Bernardino reaches out. Tries to race his way to first base. It is close. He's safe. And the Nats are still alive. A run scores. It's 9-5. And Terry Collins is coming out. He's not a happy manager. Tim Timmons on the call.
Terry Collins must be thinking right now, what do I have to do to get a win? I've lost 6 in a row. Get a routine ground ball to my second baseman. I'm thinking, thank goodness we finally won a game, but not so fast.
That gives Sandy Leon another chance. And the Nats again will have the tying run in the on-deck circle.
You see Turner just sitting on the ball, the speed of Bernardino. We saw it happen early in the game, and he's clearly safe. I don't think this is close at all. Watch the foot of Bernardino. Ball's not even anywhere near Ike Davis. And that just might be a little frustration from Terry Collins, who's lost 6 in a row. Jim Timmons got it right.
Seems like it's taken him an hour to get these last outs.
Well, he's the one that made 8 pitching changes.
And so here's Sandy Leon. And, of course, if he gets on base, Tyler Moore with a ton of power is next. The Mets, by the way, sat down Pedro Beato. So Desmond's at third. Bernardino with blinding speed at first. And they're playing behind him. You would expect him to go down to second base on the first pitch.
If Leon can get on for Tyler Moore, you never know.
There goes Bernardino. Swing and a miss, and now runners at second and third. And a base hit would make it 9-7.
And when you've lost 6 in a row and you're standing on defense right now, negative thoughts are creeping into your head.
And Leon fouls it, and again the Mets are just 1 pitch away. Fastball up. Rookie catcher, 1 for 2 today. First major league hit 2 innings ago. So Leon comes into the game and gets at bats in 3 consecutive frames.
I think if Davey Johnson got Tyler Moore to the plate, he'd be fine with whatever happened in this game.
And it won't happen. The game's over. Well, the Nationals made the Mets sweat this one out when they were ahead 9-1. So that's it. Washington still wins the series. The Mets grab 1. They win it 9-5 today behind R.A. Dickey. Tomorrow night, the Braves are here, but they've got to face Steven Strasburg. Nats Extra 6:30. This has been a Masson presentation. Stay tuned now. Nats Extra brought to you by W.B. Mason is coming up next. Johnny and Ray capping off a long day here at the ballpark. And for Christina, NFP, Bob Carpenter, and so long for just a while.